Hi, welcome to episode 13 of Ahead of the Curve, the Scoliosis Experience. I'm your host, Dr. Megan Teed, and today we are going to be talking about a topic that comes up frequently with patients who have had the corrective surgery for scoliosis. The question is why corrective exercise is important before and after surgery. So just want to start off with a little bit of a catch up and update. So this past weekend, I taught Scolio Pilates Module 1. Again, it was my second practice round, and now I will be officially teaching certifications for Scolio Pilates Module 1. We gave one of the students who doesn't have scoliosis, we gave her scoliosis by using the wedges and propping her in a way that she was rotated and side bent a little bit so that she could feel and experience how it feels to exercise with scoliosis. And we were doing this, she was lying down on the table and we had the props and wedges underneath of her. And like immediately she was like, oh my gosh, my jaw is killing me. And I explained, I was like, okay, well, this makes sense because you are, in addition to your lumbar spine and your thoracic spine beginning to side bend and rotate in this position, your cervical spine, your neck is also side bending, trying to keep your head in midline. And then as a result, one side of your jaw is being compressed and the other one is being tractioned and lengthened. That happens. A lot of my clients suffer from TMJ issues, jaw pain, teeth grinding, things like that. And it just is a really good demonstration that everything with scoliosis is connected. We can't just go in and treat one part of you and ignore the rest. There are spirals and rotations and all sorts of compensations happening the whole way, all throughout the body. So circling back to the topic of the week, why corrective exercise is important before and after surgery. So I know that there's a lot of thought that goes into having a corrective I keep wanting to say corrective exercise. To having a corrective surgery for scoliosis. And it usually happens after someone has gone through conservative treatments like physical therapy and bracing and possibly even other things like chiropractics and acupuncture, things like that, before they would consider doing a surgery on someone. So usually those treatments aren't successful in stabilizing that curve, and the curve is showing signs that it's going to just continue to progress left unattended. So that's generally if somebody has a Cobb angle of about 50 degrees or more. That's not a hard and fast rule. There's people that have greater than 50-degree curves that don't need surgery because their curves have stabilized and it's not compromising their organ function, cardiovascular function, things like that. So if you are going to get the surgery anyway, why should you do corrective exercises first? So these are two questions I'm going to answer here. This is a really good question because, the surgery, you imagine, okay, well, the surgery is going to fix my problem. It's going to stabilize my curve. Why would I need to do a bunch of work beforehand like this? So depending on the surgical technique, the scoliosis will either be stabilized in its current position or they will correct it towards a midline position. Historically, in order to prepare patients for surgery, they'd be put in traction for months beforehand. And that actually still happens in really severe curves. Children are put into like a halo traction, and they're in like a wheelchair or a walker, and they keep this halo traction around their head for months. Some people will have those for years before they're ready and their tissues are prepared to have the surgery, the corrective surgery. So it's kind of the same idea behind that. Doing the corrective exercise, it prepares the muscles, the ligaments, and the fascia that surround the curve that are in the shortened and the lengthened positions along the length of the curve. It also addresses the pelvis, which is the foundation of your spine. So the surgery will, if they have surgery in the lumbar spine, it might help to balance the pelvis under the spine somewhat, but a lot of times those tissues alongside the hips, they're not really addressed. So you still have the one side where the tissues are a bit shortened and the actual muscle fibers are thicker, and then the other side, they're lengthened and stretched out, and the muscle fibers are thinner. So if you do the corrective exercises beforehand, your muscles will begin to learn a new neutral position and will be stretched and strengthened and lengthened accordingly. So you'll have a much more successful and easy recovery afterwards. Not necessarily easy. I mean, it is a major surgery, but it will help to ease probably some of the recovery afterwards. Okay. So if you have already had, so this is question number 2, if you've already had the surgery, possibly even a lot of years ago, why should you do corrective exercises now? Your body and your brain, they don't forget its curved position. So even after surgery, your scoliosis will continue to want to scoliosis. It'll continue to want to curve. And if there's a partial fusion done in the thoracic spine, and the lumbar spine wasn't corrected, without learning corrective exercises, the lumbar spine will still try and curve in the future. And the opposite occurs when the lumbar spine is fused. The thoracic spine will continue to want to curve. So also the thoracic spine, if that region was fused, the rib cage might still be asymmetrical afterwards. Likely it will be. But thankfully, the ribs are pliable and they can be reshaped using specific breathing techniques and strengthening exercises to balance this symmetry and improve cardiovascular function and pain afterward. So it's really important to have a scoliosis specialist who can provide education on how to exercise safely and do all the things you want to be doing while minimizing your pain and improving your function with spinal fusion. I want you to know that if you are considering having a spinal fusion, or if you've already had one done, that doesn't have to limit your lifestyle. That doesn't have to be a stopping point for you. There's an amazing Olympian. Her name is Kyra Condi, and look her up on Instagram. She has a lot of amazing photos and just information about her life. She had corrective surgery for her 70-degree scoliosis many years ago. I think she was about 11 or 12 when she had the surgery done, and she's gone on to be an Olympic climber. So there is no limits to what you can do, what your body is capable of with the right guidance and care. And I just wanted to encourage you that anything is possible. So That is all I have for today. I want you to also know that I have a special offer coming up for you around Black Friday. It's a way that you can begin caring for your spine in a more financially feasible way, making little adjustments and in the way that you're moving throughout the day. And I can't wait to share it with you soon.